If you can't do something yourself, you automate it. If you cannot automate it, you delegate it. And if you cannot delegate it, you eliminate it. That's the 4-hour work week.
Cold calling works, Instagram works, paying for ads works. Everything you hear people say to do, it all works. But if you're trying to do all of it at once, none of it will.
So, he's about to pull it out.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Live from New York. Welcome to the Selling Empire Podcast. Your source for the latest real estate tips, tricks, and insights from the top producers in the industry. Whether you are new to real estate or a seasoned agent, don't miss your chance to learn from guests who have broken the mold and achieved massive success. Get ready to level up your game. Let's get started.
Awesome. So first of all, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. And been looking forward to this conversation since we scheduled it a little while ago. Really happy to have you here.
Absolutely. I'm stoked to chat with you boys. Let's get into it. I'm excited.
All right. Yeah. So, just getting right into it. I know your time is valuable. For those that don't know you and have not seen your TikToks and Instagram reels out there, who the heck are you? And, what are you doing here?
For those that haven't seen my dorky content, all right, let me tell you. Well, my name is Ed Stulak. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a team leader of Orbis Group over here at Real Broker, and been selling real estate now for about 7 years or so. And I create some fun stuff on social media and TikTok, Instagram. That's really where I'm at. So been doing that for quite some time now.
Awesome.
So how did you get started in the business?
Like what got you into it?
Well, to be honest, I was never a good scholar in college. I always failed. So I figured, let me choose a route in life that does not require a degree, So one day came home, sat on the couch, was kind of rethinking, reevaluating life. And one of my buddies on Facebook was just dappered from head to toe. Like, this man was so well dressed. So I reached out to him because, we played hockey together. And so I reached out to him. I'm like, dude, what do you do today? And he said, sell real estate in New York City. And that caught my attention right away. I got into it, and the rest is really what it is today. Been just pushing ever since that day, trying to get into the business. I love dressing up. I love that it doesn't require a school degree. It just made sense. So that was the real true reason why I got into it. Like, none of my family members are into real estate, none of that. So it's just like, let's give it a shot.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you had the realization to go into real estate. I joined the Air Force when I went through that sort of, hey, do I go to school or not? But ultimately landed back here afterwards.
We all have our different paths. I went the opposite route and got way too many degrees that I now don't even need. So,
bachelor's, master's, doctorate, or not doctorate,
not quite a doctorate.
On its way there. On its way there.
Definitely a master degree, and then a whole bunch of other stuff that now, it's good experience, I guess, but no longer need. High school degree would have done, right?
But you know what? They look great on your wall, though. They look great. All this time.
I don't even know where they are anymore. After I moved, I don't even know where I put them. That's how much I care for them.
I actually never picked up my own college degree certificate, so I don't have one. I graduated, but still have one. I never picked it up.
I hear you.
Awesome. But getting back to that, in terms of, just making the decisions to get into the business, because we've all been there. How was that for you at first in terms of just trying to get your first client? Who was it? How do you get there?
First clients that I had were my parents. They had an investment property and they wanted to give it a shot to sell. So I tried selling it and got my first buyer from it as well, from doing an open house for the home. So I was the listing agent for the first property that I dealt with.
Wow.
And it wasn't easy. You know, I definitely dealt with a lot of ups and downs with it, as anyone I would assume would. But I had good guidance at that time. I had a good mentor to really guide me through the whole process and transaction. And it was my first buyer, though, that I picked up from that property. So, like, that is my first client that I quote unquote deem as my first client, right? And I'll tell you that story. That story, it was this Portuguese family. They were a beautiful family, husband and wife, had 3 kids at the time. And the first time we went out and saw houses, we were shopping around. And, I was acting like I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't, of course. And I think it was about 6 or 7 months in, I finally found them a house that they were interested in. I'm like, awesome, this is great. I'm working it. I'm about to put an offer, which I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. I've been showing them houses for 6 months now. It's been some time. Haven't put in an offer. It was my only client really that I was working with. So I go to put in an offer, and I call my mentor at the time, and I was like, hey, so what do I do from here on out? I literally went into the laundry room, and I was like just quietly talking to her, and she told me, well, now you got to put in an offer. I'm like, well, yeah, I know that, but what do I need to gather? She's like, oh, just write it up and send it. Like, that was it. That's all I was told. I'm like I'm hoping for more here. But anyway, long story short, I go to submit the offer that I finally typed up, and the listing agent asked for a pre-approval. And I'm like, what's a pre-approval?
Nice.
Right. So that's when I realized, oh, my clients need a pre-approval. Got it. This is how this thing works. So then I went to go get them a pre-approval, only to find out that they were nowhere near getting approved. So I had to wait a whole another year plus for them to save up some money. But I did end up helping them buy a house. So it was like my first client, but it took me about a year and a half to close.
Wow. So you were showing multiple houses and no idea, no fair approval. Just, hey, let's see. Wow.
That's right. That's how much mentorship I was given in the beginning. So, yeah,
Awesome.
it just goes to show how brokerages and people and teams operate. They're not all on point. So, yeah.
No, to that point, the mentorship is
sorry.
when you're starting out. Like, just because you have your license doesn't mean that you know what you're doing.
That's right.
Yeah, so like,
Absolutely right.
Studying for your license for your test is completely different than actual real world application.
Oh, that's college for you too.
That is true.
Yeah, but a lot is expensive though.
That's right.
Yeah. So I mean, so you spend a year with this one client, showing houses, didn't work out. Eventually, you get to the closing table. So what happened throughout that time? Because I must assume that you need to pay some bills, feed yourself. You want to grow this business. So how do you, I guess, stay motivated throughout this, especially after you find out that offer you're making is not going anywhere?
Well, in the beginning, I was about, I think, 21 years old. So I was still living at home with my parents, and they were a huge investor of mine. They lent me a lot of money in the beginning. Just said, here you go, give it a shot, get your license, get all the material you need. The first few months of whatever it is that you need in real estate, like, go ahead, it's on us. Once you make your first few paychecks, you can give us the ROI. So that's kind of how we worked it out. They were, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be where I am today. I know that for a fact. I definitely wouldn't be, so they were a big part of the foundation, the push, the motivation, the drive, and so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely.
It makes a huge difference when you have someone like that in your life that believes in you and invests in you, whether monetarily or just, being patient and giving you the words of encouragement that one needs in a business that could be
not many people have the opportunity to say that. Yeah. Many of them are kicked to the side or just kind of thrown into the deep end very early on. And that's totally fine. Everyone has their own ways of going about life. But I think the way that my parents chose, it definitely spoiled me to a sense. But at the same time, they knew what the cap was, what that limitation, where that threshold was of, all right, let's not go too overboard. But no, I think they did fine. I'm pleased with the journey so far and the beginning. Like I said, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here today. So, yeah.
Yeah, so just to keep going down that journey, what happened next? You were working with that client. How did you get to? And maybe we skip forward a little bit to what does your group do today? Like, what is your production level today, so that the audience can get a sense of what would you accomplish, and then we can come back to what happened next after that client.
Sure. So that being about 7 years ago. To where I didn't know what a pre-approval was, to now today being a team leader of 12 agents, and we're here based in New Jersey, and now I'm teaching them what I was never taught at the beginning. A lot of them are rookies, which I personally enjoy. I love educating. I love teaching new ones and really getting them to a point where they don't have to experience what I experienced at the beginning. So they're really hitting the ground running with transactions under their belt, with leads, with marketing, with the whole 9 yards, So, but yeah, today we're at 12 agents selling here in New Jersey, Central Jersey area, and all around. But I want to say for this year, we're just around 160 plus transactions together as a team, and a lot of them are new. A lot of them are new agents that just started maybe 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, 3 months ago. So a lot of them are still learning, but the fact that they already have some deals under their belt, that warms my heart as a team leader. Yeah. I'm glad that I can give that to them. So, but yeah, we're selling real estate. What we specialize in are big apartment developments, projects that have over 100 plus units, and we're either renting them out or selling them out. So that's our specialty niche. That's what we focus on.
Okay. That's awesome.
Cool. And
so how did you get to that point?
I think you mentioned. Sorry,
yeah. So how did you get to the point of having those developments? So now that you're there, how do you go from struggling with one client without getting a pre-approval to now selling 100 plus unit apartment buildings or renting? How was that?
I would say, quick to that, Ed's been a little modest. I saw a post a little while ago. Was it 1,000 units, Ed, that you guys are working on right now?
Working on it, yeah.
Well, that is 100 plus.
That is 100 plus. Yeah. No, the one that we have right now in our portfolio is at 180 units. But we are working on a few other projects right now. They're pending. Nothing is certain, of course. So, numbers are what they are. But had 1,000 unit listing appointment the other day. That was awesome. So we'll see how it goes. But how did it even start is a great question, and I'm very curious to hear the formula myself if anyone ever had one. But the formula that I created was literally through Instagram DM, where the developers' connections and the people and the consultants were reaching out to me saying, we see what you're posting online. We think that you definitely have the demographic and the vision for what we can hope for our project. So maybe let's meet and talk. So I met with them a few days after that DM, only to find out it was a project for 180 units. And they asked me a lot of questions at that appointment. Oh my God, how many questions? But if you guys ever heard of Fake It Till You Make It, that was exactly my theme of that appointment. They asked me every question under the sun about commercial buildings and this, and how do you see yourself selling this out? What's the demographic in this area? And there was always one question they asked me. They asked me my absorption rate. And absorption rate, I'm thinking, 10%, 10% easily. Dude, they were like, wow, that's pretty good. And of course, I'm thinking, I had no idea what an absorption rate was. But I was like, sure, that sounds right. And whatever I said, they liked it. God bless, got them to say, let's go, let's move forward. And, only to find out today, it's around 11% interest absorption rate. So I was not far off at all.
There you go.
Ridiculous, which is ridiculous to think. But nonetheless, that was my fake it till you make it story. That's how I got that first project, which now I have other developers from around the tri-state area reaching out to me and saying, we saw what you did with that. Could you help us out potentially with ours? And now it's like a 64 unit building, 92 unit building, 256 unit building, and then this 1,000 unit building. So these are the projects that are coming our way, which is cool because no one else really tackles this niche in my area or from around the country per se. I don't know too many others that do. So I'm really glad that I can hone in on something like this. And this is what really makes Orbis Group a little bit different and special, a little bit more unique as opposed to other realtors or other teams. You know, we're not just focusing on single family homes and condo sales, like so much more than that.
Yeah. And this all you said came from a single DM that sort of snowballed into where you're at today.
DM. That's it.
So I guess, you know, just jumping into that in Instagram, you know, you dancing around, pointing up and down. How do you have the vision for that? You just decided one day, hey, I'm gonna shoot some videos and see where it goes. So like, how did that get started? Because you're known as the Instagram guy.
Instagram guy, I'll take it. You know, whatever that name is, Instagram is where my personal brand today, what's known for today, was born. It was 10 years ago when I got onto Instagram and I just started dabbling with it, only for me to realize that every time I post for free, which takes me a few minutes to do, I get some sort of exposure and engagement. And then I look at it the same way as if someone is paying for a very expensive marketing in a magazine, in a newspaper, a billboard, a TV ad. And I'm thinking these people are paying lots of money for this stuff to get exposure. Exposure could also be easily gotten on social media, which is where people that are going to be viewing those billboards and advertisements, they're going to be on there anyway. At the end of the day, people are on social media. Let's be real. Like, this is where they're scrolling. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. They're on Facebook. They're on YouTube. They're on LinkedIn. They're on these platforms. And you can post on there for free and get the same exposure. Okay, how do I rack up those numbers, get more followers? Because every time they click the follow button, it's like they're subscribing to see your stuff. So if they subscribe, per se, to see your stuff, what kind of stuff should you be giving them? Well, I'm thinking valuable stuff, because they can easily follow you. They can very easily unfollow you or unsubscribe. So how do you keep them engaged? Give them stuff that they want. What do they want? Well, I don't know. Let's see what they like. Let's do lots of split testing in the beginning. Let me throw out something valuable. Let me throw out something educational, something entertaining, something sexy, something funny, something, I don't know, something dirty, something nasty. So, like, what do they interact with? And then I'm realizing a lot of the audience, every time I post something educational or entertaining or just myself, people seem to engage with it more than me trying to sell a listing or me trying to advertise something. They don't like that stuff. So why am I going to start posting that stuff? It's been a lot of split testing over the past 10 years. And until I finally realized, oh, okay, now I know what people like, but also what I like. It's a combination of both, which people seem to neglect. People always say, I'm a real estate professional. Let me post real estate stuff. Yes, to a degree. Post it to a degree. Post it to the point where people can engage with it and interact with it. Even where the simple average person can understand and comprehend your content. Don't start diving into mortgage rates and why you think the market is like, go about it a little differently. Do a little different approach, you know? Make it more easily digestible for the average consumer to understand, so that when that point does come for them to say, I need to buy, sell, rent real estate. Well, that one person always preaches it on their social media and it's so easy to consume. Let me just DM them and see what happens. That's it. That's the formula. Honestly, I can't put it more simpler than that. There's no algorithm anymore. The algorithms are all out of whack nowadays. Like, just be original with your content, be authentic with it, be real, be true, be yourself. And you don't need to have 1 million followers at the end of the day. I think if you have a solid 100, just 100, that's it. Find solid 100 followers that will love your stuff. Give them what they want. You know how many connections and how many opportunities can come from 100 people? Ton.
That is so true. For you guys listening, Ed is the reason why I started to actually use social media. If you look back a year or two ago, I've had 2 pictures every couple of months of just randomness. It made no sense. And nobody really knew who I was, what I was doing. But after seeing Ed's videos, I decided one day to, hey, let me just give it a shot, and started posting just like Ed. If you look at my first videos, awful. If you look at latest ones, still awful, but work in progress.
I applaud you. I applaud you for the content you've been creating. It's awesome. I don't know any other people that are within our brokerage or within any other brokerages or our tri-state area that are posting so much, so consistently, and have some sort of theme like you. So I applaud you. Not just saying that, I see your stuff.
No, I appreciate it. And I say this just to go back to the point that, Ed, I think you have like 6,000 followers in your account. I have a measly 397 followers. Not that I checked this morning, but that's the number. But out of that, I have been able to get in just the last 6 months that I've been doing this. I have gotten more interaction with people about what I'm doing. I've had more conversations with people about real estate, and I have gotten some leads out of those 397 people just because I have been posting for free. No Google ads, no Zillow ads, none of that. That all takes money. I hate them because they're, I'll leave it at that. But these people that are interacting with me, they know who I am. There is no need to convince them or interview to gain the business. And they earnestly want to work with you. So after doing this for a while, after seeing Ed's videos, I've been pitching this myself left and right to all our agents. And just anybody that I know, just get on social, start posting, and just start being consistent with it. You'll get infinite amount of ROI from that.
Big time. You never know who's watching, and you don't know who knows who.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of, we're talking about social here, but are you doing anything else? Is there anything else that's working for you, or are you solely focused on social media in terms of your marketing, in terms of getting yourself out there?
So when one comes up with a business plan, right, one of the things that you should focus on are the things that have been working for you, right? The new year is coming. We're doing our business plans, or at least the sophisticated ones are doing their business plans for the new year and figuring out what's been working and what you should double down on, right? If sphere of influence works for you, if referrals works for you, if Realtor.com works for you, if whatever that might work for you, you're going to see that it's working for you. That's where you're getting deals from. This is where you're getting business from. That's what you should probably be double downing on and putting more into. Why start spreading yourself thin and trying to figure out new platforms and new ways? Like, sure, dabble with it, but like you see what has been working for you. Why not focus on that more? And then also you should focus on the other spectrum of what has not been working for you and get rid of that. What's been working for me over the years is social media. It's very pointless for me to go and start dabbling with other ventures. Like, I will, don't get me wrong, I will. I don't want to say that I'm not going to focus on new ventures and new avenues of advertising. Sure, I will. But if I know social media has been working for me and it's costing me nothing and I'm getting big results, that's a great gamble that I will continue to run with. That's my point. The social media for sure. But there are some new platforms like YouTube. YouTube is a platform I haven't really dove into just fully yet, but I would love to because I hear of many successful stories around the country and the world. So let me try that out. But social media comes down to social media. This is where we are. This is where people are. This is where people are exposing themselves in the correct way, of course. But that's just where it comes down to. I don't know, social media for me.
Thanks for clarifying that, Beard.
Yeah, of course. I once said that, and people are like, "What do you mean by exposing yourself?" I'm like, posting.
Yeah. That makes a big
depending
difference.
on which platform the exposing can be a little more than that.
That's a good point.
So now that we talked about the business planning, what's in it for you in the future? What are you working on now that's going to pan out in the next year or two? Where do you see Orbis Group and Ed Stulak heading next year and in the next few years?
So it's continuing to bring on these big projects, these developments, and eventually over the next few years, it's going to be nationwide. I don't know how states are open to such a model and such a project. But whichever they are, the Orbis Group is definitely going to expand nationwide. So we're already working on a project out in New York, and I'm not licensed in New York yet, but it's going to be forcing me to grow a team out there very soon because these developers, they told me specifically, Ed, we want you there. Please bring us an offer and we'll run with it. And I told them I'm not even licensed there, so I don't know what to do. But they're like, just figure it out and let us know we want you, which is forcing me now to grow a team out there, So eventually the vision that I had for, let's say 3-4 years from now is happening as we speak. So I got to start really honing in on growing this team nationwide, working on a project out in Delaware, potentially out in Florida, so I do see myself growing Orbis Group a lot more than just New Jersey. and bringing on more projects and just really being that go-to team for such developments. And then, of course, growing the real family across the country too. You know, there's a lot in it for us for that, being a part of this brokerage that allows us to grow a team. So I'm excited for that too. Big reason why I'm here. You know, that's awesome.
No, and I think a lot of, and you mentioned this before, I just circle back to it in just a second here. You mentioned this before, but I think the focus that you have in, sticking to social media, sticking to your business plan and your model, it has been key. At least that's what I see has been key in your growth. I see a lot of new agents that they're trying to do too much all at once and not really picking one thing that works. Cold calling works, Instagram works, paying for ads works. Everything you hear people say to do, it all works. But if you're trying to do all of it at once, none of it will. So I think, to your point of sticking to just what has been working for you and doubling down on that's perfect advice, not just for new agents, but just for anybody that's sort of out there in the business already, that's feeling stuck, that's trying to level up. Just stick to one thing. If you stick to one thing, do it enough, do it consistently and often enough, you're bound to just fall and succeed. Like, even if you fail, you're failing forward. You will trip into success if you have to.
That's it.
Cool. And I mean, you guys are, you and your team are doing great things. I think you've covered a lot of our questions here. So we just wanted to wrap things up with what we're calling our Empire 4 questions. Name still TBD, but I'm calling that for now. And these are the same questions that we'll ask everybody every week going forward. But you're guest number 2.
All right.
That, we want to end the show with. So, first question is, if you could start all over again, what would you do differently, if anything?
I would join a team earlier in my career. Join a team that is actually working it and doing a good job. So do a little bit more research on the teams around me, see how I can get in there and see what kind of value I can provide to them, because it's not easy to join those teams. So I would just say, let me find a team around my area, join them, get under their wing, really provide value, and just learn a lot quicker than I did my first 2 or 3 years of real estate.
No, and I think that's awesome advice. To a lot of people that are scared of teams, they see the splits, they see how much less they're getting. But if we look at your example of working with one client for over a year and getting nothing, I would rather get a smaller split and get something than nothing at all.
That's right. Yeah. Although those splits are investments. I don't know. People are perceiving the 50-50 and 60-40s as, oh my God, they're ripping me off. I don't think they are. Like, every team, there are some teams that are ripping you off. Yes, 100%. But there are others that you see that 50-50 split and you're getting business cards, you're getting open house signs, you're getting exposure, you're getting leads, you're getting marketing, you're getting advice, you're getting mentorship. I'm looking at all that like it's only 50-50. Like, this is good stuff. This is great. I'd rather, give up $5,000 for all that stuff than take them on. Yeah.
And I'm sure a team like that will let you know your buyer needs a pre-approval a lot earlier than
I think you're right.
Just a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we may teach our agents that early on. Everybody does a little different. Who knows? But
right.
But talking about agents, for agents that are feeling stuck right now, what advice would you give them, especially with the current market that we are in? What advice would you give someone that's feeling stuck and, going into next year?
Again, same advice that I just gave. Being a part of a team, like, you're just cutting that learning curve. So if you already are a part of a team and you're feeling stuck, then maybe this isn't the right team for you. So maybe consider a different team. But if you are solo agent, think about potentially joining forces with someone that knows what they're doing, can really help you push forward. That's really the advice I would say. It's it always comes back down to mentorship. It was one of the things that cut my learning curve in half and helped me push forward and excel forward and fast. So it comes back down to team. But if you're doing the same thing and it's not working, change it up. That's it.
Awesome. And I think you just answered this in that answer as well, but I'll put it out there. For veteran agents, experienced agents that have been out there for a while, that are doing well, what piece of actionable advice would you give them to get into that next level? From maybe 50 transactions a year to 100 transactions a year. How do you get to that next level?
So the next level is just going to be a matter of, again, maybe growing a team now. I think a lot of those agents that this is what I hear. This is what I keep hearing. The occurring problem is that there's an agent that has 50 or 40 or 30 or 50, 60 deals, and it keeps going like that, and they're never surpassing it. And what I hear is that they're solo agents. They're just doing this by themselves. I think the real growth comes down to growing a team and an operation that helps you push more leads, more business, more opportunities. Now that I have a team and assistant, like now I can juggle 12 deals at once, whereas opposed to before I can juggle 3 deals at once by myself. But now I can juggle 12, knowing that there are others that are helping me with this thing. The leads that are coming from the listings that I'm getting, I can just give them out to others while I'm on vacation. They're still getting done. Things like that is how I'm perceiving them to be. But as a solo agent, can't really do much. So, and every time I know from the maybe 2 or 3 agents that I've spoken with in my lifetime that were solo agents and grow a team, is always the right thing to do. So maybe it's time to grow a team.
That's a perfect answer.
All right. And you talked about mentorship before, right? So what research would you say has brought you the most value, whether it was the mentorship, any books or podcasts or anything that you've done in the past? What do you think you got the most value out of?
So going back to social media, the connections that I've made over the years through social media have been extremely rewarding, from people that I've wanted to connect with, or I see their content all the time and I see it's good stuff. I reach out to them, offer collaboration, offer friendship, whatever it might be. I try to offer something to them so I can get on their good side. So that's one thing. Or social media has brought me all my connections that I have today in my life, which is crazy to say, but at the same time, I'm so grateful for every single relationship. And number 2, comes down to the books that I read maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago. One of the books that I read completely changed my model of business and just changed my whole path. I was going in one direction, but that book made me go to the left, and all of a sudden it's done miracles for me. The book is called 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. It's an orange book, yay thick. If you haven't read it, I'll read it real quick. So, he's about to pull it out.
Right there.
Yeah. That book has personally changed my business model and just the way that I function today. And believe it or not, it's funny, but I did not finish the whole book. I literally got to one point, and right when I read that, and that's it. This is all I need to now push forward. And this is where I think people go wrong, I think.
Yeah.
Is this gone?
To the point that Aneury made earlier, right? There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of information, a lot of resources. But I think where we all go wrong is, we might read a good book, might find a great point, but then just keep going and learning other stuff. Then you learn opposing views, but no one ever sticks to something, right? You got to your point and you're like, oh, this clicks. Like, I can get this, right? And then you move forward, you follow that to, whatever. You didn't even keep reading the book. You probably missed some other stuff later on, but you found your one takeaway.
That's right. I probably missed so many other things in there, but I'm okay with that. It was about 6 or 7 years ago when I was a part of this community that I created called Leave Normal Behind, with these other guys that came from Australia. We're here based out in New Jersey. I think there was about 16 or 17 of us in this community. And the whole point of this was to just do things that made us better and create things that matter. We're just trying to become the best version of ourselves, become better as persons, and just do things that matter. And part of this little community we had is every week we had to read a book and then bring it to the community, share it. It was like a little book club. So we learned a lot from each other. I'm pretty sure that we ended up reading about 60 plus books in a matter of 1 or 2 months. Like, we did a lot of reading. And like I said, that one book is what changed my entire perspective on life, business. So the book, I'll read it for us. If you can't do something yourself, you automate it. If you cannot automate it, you delegate it. And if you cannot delegate it, you eliminate it. That's the 4-hour work week. Wow. That's the whole point of the book. Powerful. That's all Tim Ferriss tried to say. And it's simple as that. And there were so many things in my life now that I've been trying to do myself. And every time I do it myself, I go back to that book. What is that book trying to tell me? If I can't do it myself, automate it. Can I automate it? Nope, I can't. All right, try to delegate it. Can I delegate it? Yep, I could. Okay, here you go. Do that. All right, let's try to automate it this. Can I automate it? Yeah, I can. Okay, great. Awesome. Can't automate it? Oh, can't delegate it? Oh, eliminate it. Screw it. I don't need it.
There you go. Powerful.
That's awesome.
Boom. That's all I got.
No, so I think that's the perfect
a great way to end this conversation, actually. So what can our listeners learn more about you, connect with you? I know you're Ed Stulak on everything, but is there any particular place you want people to connect with you?
Instagram, always on there. That's my digital business card. Love connecting on there. I'm in my DMs every 7 minutes. So I'm always reaching out and messaging. So yeah, no, I'll always reach out to me on Instagram, Ed Stulak, and would be happy to help you succeed in real estate and in life.
It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate taking the time today. This has been great. I'm looking forward to doing this again sometime.
Absolutely. Anytime, my friends. Whatever you need, always here for you, boys.
Yeah, until next time. Thanks, I really appreciate it.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Selling Empire Podcast. Want more of the best real estate tips, tricks, secrets, and insights to level up your game? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next episode. While you're at it, help us spread the word by leaving a rating and review. And we will see you back here next time for the next episode of The Selling Empire.
Oh.